Angel Reese is absolutely furious. And the entire WNBA is buzzing after Clark was officially named the most powerful female athlete on the planet. Not the most popular, not the most talented, the most powerful, a title usually reserved for billion-dollar owners, Fortune 500 executives, and global sports moguls. Yet this year, Forbes placed a 23-year-old rookie above industry giants. And the moment that ranking dropped, insiders say Reese's reaction was explosive. Because while Clark vaulted to the very top of the sports world, Reese did not even make the list. Not top 10, not top 20, not even mentioned. And the gap between them has never been clearer or more embarrassing. Forbes didn't base this list on jump shots or highlight plays. They measured pure business influence, economic impact, global reach, and the ability to shift entire markets. Clark dominated every category. Reese was nowhere close. What happened next behind the scenes has now been leaked by sources close to both players. The jealousy, the panic, the heated conversations inside Chicago's camp. What you're about to hear exposes just how deep this rivalry really goes, and why Clark's rise is leaving some players shaken, threatened, and desperate to catch up. The situation inside the Chicago Sky facility had gone from uncomfortable to explosive. What started as sharp comments behind closed doors had now escalated into something far more dangerous for Angel's future with the team. According to staff members who witnessed the moment firsthand, the tension finally erupted during a heated practice session that insiders described as the most chaotic of the entire season. Voices weren't just raised, they were fired like bullets. Players froze, staff members backed away. A normally controlled, structured drill session turned into an emotional collision course that absolutely no one saw coming. Insiders say, the breaking point began with a single play. Angel missed a defensive rotation, something that happens hundreds of times across any season. But this time the response was different. Instead of a quick adjustment or standard coaching correction, one assistant coach snapped in a way that shocked everyone on the court. He shouted across the gym, accusing Angel of being unfocused, irresponsible, and bringing too much outside drama into the building. The moment echoed off the walls, and the silence that followed was almost unbearable. Players looked around, unsure whether to step in or step away. The air felt thick, tense, and ready to explode, but Angel did not back down. She fired right back, saying she was tired of being singled out, tired of carrying the weight of the media on her back, tired of being blamed for every dip in chemistry. Several players later said the argument felt deeply personal, not professional. It wasn't about basketball anymore. It was everything that had been boiling under the surface for weeks, erupting with no warning. The assistants exchanged glances. A head coach tried to intervene, but Angel wasn't finished. She raised her voice louder, demanding to know why certain coaches had been talking behind her back, questioning her leadership, questioning her maturity, questioning whether she had already become too big for the team to manage. That accusation changed everything. Multiple insiders confirmed that Angel had discovered a private coaches' meeting where concerns about her reliability and influence were discussed. According to someone close to the situation, Angel had been tipped off by someone inside the organization, who said certain members of the coaching staff wanted her role reduced. The moment she exposed this discovery during practice, you could feel the energy shift instantly. The coaches froze. Several players later said the look on their faces revealed everything. They had been exposed. The trust was broken. One assistant coach tried to defend himself, insisting Angel had misunderstood, but Angel cut him off and demanded to know why she was being discussed behind closed doors instead of addressed directly. The team watched in stunned disbelief as one of the most powerful young stars in the league stood toe-to-toe with her own coaching staff, refusing to be quiet, refusing to be humbled, refusing to be cornered. Cameras inside the facility were rolling the entire time. Security footage existed, and according to one team employee, that footage did not stay inside the building for long, because that is when the shocking reveal dropped. Just hours after the chaotic practice, a mysterious anonymous leak sent fragments of the coach's private meeting to multiple media outlets. The audio was grainy but clear enough to hear Angel's name mentioned repeatedly. The tone of the coaches in that recording changed everything. They expressed concerns that Angel's rising fame and non-stop media focus were creating division. They questioned whether she listened. They questioned whether she was mentally prepared to handle the pressure. One even suggested the organization needed to consider a contingency plan if the situation continued to spiral. Once that audio spread online, the reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Some fans accused the coaches of betraying their own star. Others claimed Angel was out of control and needed to be reined in. But inside the Sky organization, panic erupted. The staff was scrambling, the front office was furious, and players were whispering about who leaked what, who recorded what, and what this meant for the future of the locker room. And then came the final bombshell. The team realized the leaked audio was not the full recording. There was more. Much more. And insiders say the unreleased section contains comments so explosive, so damaging, that if it ever gets out, the Chicago Sky organization could face a scandal far bigger than anyone has within hours. The Sky facility went into full lockdown mode. Staff who normally walked freely through practice areas were suddenly being stopped, questioned, and redirected. Phones were confiscated. Access badges were temporarily disabled. The entire building felt like it had been transformed into a high-security investigation site, according to two insiders who spoke on condition of anonymity. The organization's leadership believed the leak had to come from someone inside the locker room or coaching staff, and that realization sent a wave of fear through everyone. Players whispered about it in the hallways. Coaches huddled behind closed doors. Front office executives combed through internal communication logs to determine who had access to the meeting audio. For the first time all season, the team didn't feel like a team at all. It felt like a fractured company dealing with a corporate espionage scandal. And while the staff focused on identifying the leak, the players focused on something else entirely. They wondered who the coaches had criticized off the record. If they were willing to talk about Angel behind her back, who else were they attacking privately? But the person at the center of the chaos wasn't hiding. Angel arrived at the facility the next morning, standing tall, looking determined, refusing to show even a flicker of hesitation. Teammates said she walked through the building with a level of confidence that made it clear she wasn't afraid of the truth coming out. If anything, she seemed energized. Some players admired her for it. Others felt the tension growing, worried that the situation was moving past repair. The coaching staff, however, was anything but confident. Multiple insiders say emergency meetings were held throughout the day. One source described the atmosphere as panicked, saying, "They looked like people who realized the walls were closing in." They didn't know what Angel knew. They didn't know how much audio had leaked. And the most terrifying part for the organization was the growing rumor that Angel not only had access to the original recording, but also possessed the unreleased portion that no one had heard yet. This rumor spread quickly, and it changed everything. Suddenly, the coaches weren't just fighting to regain control of the locker room. They were fighting to protect their own jobs, their reputations, and possibly their careers. What did they say on the rest of the tape? Who did they name? How harsh did they get? One insider claimed the unreleased audio included direct criticism of specific players, comments about playing time decisions that contradicted public statements, and even disagreements within the coaching staff itself. If true, that meant the tape could do more than embarrass the organization. It could trigger an internal collapse from the top down. One assistant coach reportedly confronted Angel privately, trying to patch things up before the rest of the audio surfaced. But Angel made it clear she wasn't interested in backroom apologies. She wanted accountability. She wanted transparency. And according to someone who witnessed the exchange, she warned him that if the organization continued to scapegoat her, she would tell the world everything. The assistant coach left the conversation visibly shaken. The uncertainty surrounding the unreleased audio created a paranoia that spread through the facility like wildfire. Players started looking at each other differently. Conversations became shorter, sharper. Everyone wanted to know if Angel actually had the full recording, but only a few people knew the truth, and none of them were talking. Because late that evening, something happened that no one expected. A second anonymous message went out to multiple reporters. It was just one sentence long, but it sent shockwaves through the league. The message read, "The next leak will end someone's career." Message read, "The next leak will end someone's career." The media immediately went into frenzy mode. The players went silent, and the Chicago Sky front office went into full crisis management. They knew they were standing on the edge of something catastrophic. The question was no longer if the unreleased audio would surface. It was when, and who it would destroy. The moment the second anonymous warning hit social media, reactions exploded across the WNBA community, the NBA world, and the entire sports media landscape. Reporters went live instantly, scrambling to cover the story. Fans flooded timelines demanding answers, demanding receipts, demanding the full recording. And through it all, one name dominated every conversation: Angel Reese. Some people defended her fiercely, praising her strength, her influence, and her refusal to stay quiet. Others blamed her for the chaos, calling her a troublemaker, a diva, the center of every storm. Either way, she was the most talked about athlete in America that night. But the reaction that shook the league the most came from players around the WNBA. Many of them privately messaged each other in group chats that lit up Some expressed fear, saying if Angel truly had the full audio, then nothing inside their own teams was safe anymore. Others supported her, saying coaches had been getting away with disrespect for years, treating players like property. And maybe it was about time someone exposed how things really worked behind the scenes. A few bold players even reacted publicly. Posting cryptic messages that instantly went viral. One veteran wrote, "They talk different when the cameras are off." Another star posted, "A lot of coaches scared right now." Fans immediately speculated these messages were about the Chicago Sky situation, even though no names were mentioned. The tension across the league became so thick that every tweet, every story, every like or repost was dissected like evidence in a criminal investigation. NBA players reacted to creating an entirely new wave of controversy. Some of them sided with Angel, calling her one of the toughest competitors they had ever met. One NBA forward tweeted, "Angel doesn't lie, so if she's hinting at something big, believe her." Another NBA star wrote, "If the audio is real, fire the whole staff." The comments were brutal, and they put even more pressure on the Chicago Sky organization, who still hadn't addressed any of the leaks directly. Meanwhile, the media ran wild with every angle they could find. Debate shows featured heated arguments about player-coach relationships, accountability in women's sports, and whether the WNBA was about to face its biggest scandal ever. Some analysts suggested Angel had become more powerful than the Sky organization itself. One commentator said, "When a single player has the ability to shake the entire league, you're looking at a generational force." Another countered, "Or a destabilizing influence." Depending on your perspective, the split in public opinion only intensified the drama. But the reaction that mattered most came from inside the Chicago Sky locker room. Players were rattled, some worried that if the full audio dropped, it would expose private conversations they had never expected to become public. Others were angry that the coaching staff might be hiding even more than they admitted. One insider claimed that several players confronted the head coach behind closed doors demanding answers. The meeting reportedly turned heated, with raised voices and accusations flying across the room. And the scariest part, no one walked out feeling reassured. Amid the chaos, Angel stayed silent. She didn't post, she didn't respond, she didn't deny anything. And that silence only made the speculation louder. Fans said she was preparing for the next move. Critics said she was manipulating the narrative. Supporters said she was letting the truth speak for itself. What no one realized was that the real twist was only hours away. The leak wasn't done, and the next drop would take the controversy from league drama to national headlines. What happened next blindsided everyone: fans, players, media, even the Chicago Sky organization. Just when the online frenzy started calming down and people assumed Angel Reese was done sending messages, a brand new recording appeared out of nowhere. No watermark, no explanation, just a 37-second audio clip that instantly set social media on fire. The voice in the clip wasn't Angel and it wasn't the head coach, it was a senior assistant coach, the one everyone thought was quietly siding with the players during the tension. The same assistant who had publicly praised Angel for her leadership, the same assistant players trusted with personal conversations. And in the leaked recording, that assistant was caught saying something that changed the entire narrative of the scandal. You could hear him laughing with two unidentified staff members, talking about Angel's influence inside the team, mocking other players, and even referring to the locker room as a circus. But the line that detonated the entire league was this: "Angel thinks she runs the franchise, but we're only letting her feel powerful because it keeps the tickets moving." The internet exploded instantly, because that one line confirmed the thing fans had argued about for months. The Chicago Sky were using Angel's popularity for business, while secretly resenting the authority she naturally carried inside the team. The idea that she was being manipulated while publicly being praised sparked outrage nationwide. Within minutes, players from across the WNBA reposted the clip with stunned reactions. One player wrote, "Oh, so this is how they talk behind closed doors." Another simply said, "Wow." Even veterans, usually silent during controversy, stepped in. A former MVP commented, "This is bigger than Chicago. This is a league problem." That single comment alone became a trending headline on sports networks. Meanwhile, inside the Chicago Sky facility, chaos erupted. According to an insider, multiple players immediately demanded an emergency team meeting. Angel walked in reportedly silent, cold, and focused, the kind of energy that makes everyone else in the room nervous. Staff members tried to downplay the recording, claiming it was taken out of context. But Angel wasn't interested in excuses. One insider said she stared down the assistant coach, responsible for the comments, and told him, "If this is how you talk when we're not around, imagine how you act when we're not watching." The meeting reportedly ended with 2 staff members being escorted out of the building. Rumors began swirling that terminations were imminent. Fans outside the practice facility filmed players leaving with tense expressions, phones in hand, avoiding cameras. But the biggest twist was still coming. Late that night, Angel posted her first message since the scandal started. It wasn't long, emotional, or dramatic. It was just 5 words, but those 5 words sent shockwaves through every corner of the sports world. They didn't want the truth. No explanation, no clarification, no follow-up, just a warning shot. Media outlets immediately went into emergency mode. Analysts speculated Angel had more recordings even more damaging than the ones that leaked. Some claimed she was preparing to expose an entire culture problem in the WNBA. Others insisted she was ready to force changes inside the Chicago Sky, even if it meant blowing up the entire season. The league, already panicking, scheduled an emergency conference. Reporters suggested fines, suspensions, or even front office restructuring could be coming. And if Angel had more evidence, if the rumors were real, then the next reveal could rewrite the future of the WNBA forever. If you've been following this chaos, you know this story is far from over. Angel Reese has just exposed cracks in the Chicago Sky and the WNBA, and the league has never seen drama this intense. But here's the thing, this isn't just about one player or one team. This is about power, respect, and the truth finally coming to light. Every fan, every insider, and every media outlet is watching to see what happens next. Now it's your turn to get involved. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you Team Angel or Team Chicago Sky? Do you think the leaked recordings are just the tip of the iceberg? Fans all over the world are talking about this, and your opinion matters. Smash that like button if you want more exclusive leaks, behind-the-scenes updates, and insider stories from the WNBA that nobody else will report. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because we are going to follow this story every step of the way. Every scandal, every reaction, every shocking twist, you'll be the first to know. Don't miss out. Click the next video on your screen and see what Angel Reese does next. The truth is only getting started, and it's about to get explosive.